right. Well, my name is Ina Filip. I'm an associate broker at Century21 Country Lake Homes. I started a newsletter email because people were always sort of missing things. And when I would say, hey, did you go to this event? They said, I didn't know about the event. So I started a newsletter. And then I thought, wouldn't it be nice if we got to know the people who make Hemlock Farms awesome? So last week I started with a webinar with the rabbi and the pastor, and it was a little bumpy, but they were totally patient. So, and here we are with Amy Strapec, Cultural Arts Director. So my name is Ina Filip. Like I said, I'm an associate broker at Century21. I am a full-time resident. I have raised 3 kids here. I'm married to Michael for nearly 30 years. I love Hemlock. I love all things Hemlock. And I invited Jay to be my co-host. I had this vision for this podcast for a long time, and Jay and I were in a play, and Jay said to me, hey, you should start a podcast. And I thought, oh my God, now it's in the universe. I have to do it. So Jay said, you really need a co-host. And so
I did say that.
So Jay is a new resident to Hemlock Farms, new-ish. Jay, why don't you say how you came to Hemlock Farms and how long you've been here for?
Hi, my name is Jay. I'm so excited to be part of this podcast and part of Hemlock Farms. I've been in Hemlock Farms, I guess this is really my second year, just about. It's like my newlywed phase is just about over. I came right after the pandemic. My sister-in-law has a place on Forest, and I stayed there for a month and a half or so. And I said, it seems like a great place. Bought into the property. Didn't go through the first winter because the house was being worked on and so forth. And then now I'm like 100% full time. So now I'm going through the first winter. I'm shoveling, I'm paving, I'm everything. I'm cutting wood, making fireplaces and all that, dealing with the deer, the groundhog, the foxes, the ravens, everything else that's going on. That's 100% Hemlock. And so the funny thing is I didn't have any friends. I had my lady that I'm close with. And of course, she and we live together, and but she's working in the city and I'm in Hemlock. So I auditioned for the play, and that's how I got to know you and Amy and the whole cast. I still have that photo around in my office.
Nice.
And that's what's happening with me. So yes, I'm like you. I 100% agree. I'm all Hemlock. I love Hemlock. I think it's a great place. And I'm having a great time, and it's helping with my work and so forth. So it's a spirited community.
Yeah, it's great. Jay, are you involved, or have you done any other Hemlock things, or is the play how you got your feet wet? Are you in any classes or the gym or anything like that?
I'm in the gym. I'm in the gym. I went and tried to do a couple of things at Hemlock. Like I went to the country club. I think I might have gone to a couple of the events at Fawn Hill. Like during the summer, there's like some type of it's not a flea market, but like a market
fair
scenario.
The craft fair. Yep.
Craft fair. So
Great.
I've done a couple of those things, and that's
Great.
And that was it.
Good.
Baby, I always say baby steps, because I just don't want to just splash in. I just want to make sure I'm welcomed and
you
get the
are
vibe.
welcomed.
I am.
You don't have to wait for that. Nobody has to wait for that. Everybody's welcomed. When I show houses and we go to the steer barn and all these people always say hello to me, I look like I know everybody, but that's not the case. Everybody just says hello to everybody. So that's awesome. All right, great, Jay. So we have your perspective and my perspective. And now the most awesome Amy Strapec, Cultural Arts Director, who has the most fun job in the entire world. Amy, so introduce yourself. Tell us how you came to Hemlock, how you ended up working at Hemlock Farms. What was your job background? What was your first job at Hemlock Farms? Let's start there.
Well, I have to add that we raised our children here too, and absolutely loved every minute of it. Our son was 4 when we came here, and our daughter was 3. And it's a great place to raise kids, as you know, and a lot of learning happening around Hemlock Farms. I was a young mom, and just really enjoyed getting into all the different aspects of living in the Poconos. So I did start taking pottery classes with Grace Hatton. She lived outside of Hemlock, and I was part of the move into the steer barn. If you know the turret thing up there that sticks out the steer barn manager's office, that was our pottery room. And we had and the kiln was in that little closet there.
Oh my God.
It was very hot.
That's a very little space.
Yes, it was. But I learned how to throw on the wheel there, and started taking classes with John DeRosa, who Jody Singer, who was the cultural arts director at the time, hired in the art chalet. We moved over to the art chalet for more space, and that building wasn't being utilized. That was the old ski shack, by the way. And I started with John DeRosa there, and I took a year of classes with him. And then he moved, and in 1999, I started teaching beginner pottery classes. They asked if I would teach, and I was like, I don't know how to, I've never taught before, but sure, I'll teach. And I said, but it has to be beginners. I'm not going to, say, even though I've been doing this for a couple of years, it has to be beginners. And they laughed and I said, okay. So my classes were full for 6 years, had a great time teaching, loved teaching. And the cultural arts director was in a bad accident, and he left. He was on disability for a couple of years, and the recreation director came over to the chalet one day and said, hey, Amy, would you be the cultural arts director? And I looked at him and I laughed. I said, I don't know how to do that. And he goes, well, think about it. Okay. And I was like, okay. So I went home. I talked to Ty, my main man. We'll be married 40 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, he's great. And he said, Amy, you can do it. You can do anything. I'm like, but you don't understand. We have to do trips and, like art shows and different things like that. I don't know how to do any of that. And he goes, well, just go try it, go interview and see what Ed says. So I went to the interview, and Ed looks at me and he says, so what if, have you ever had a large gathering where you had to provide food or entertain? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I said, for the past 20 years, I've been doing a caroling party here in Hemlock, and I usually have 40 to 60 people.
Wait, what party? What party?
A caroling party.
Caroling. You mean
right.
like,
so we make the route, and we would all get in the car and carpool to the different houses. It was a lot of fun. And he just said, you're hired. I'm like, okay.
I'll take it.
So, yeah, exactly. So I had some mentors that I have to mention. Joan Polishuk really helped me out with the art world. Like I could run craft shows. I started doing craft shows with the pottery, and that was pretty easy to just run my own. I was really comfortable doing that. I was in some juried shows, so I was pretty comfortable running a fine art and craft show or running a regular craft show. And then I added in cafe nights, so that it was once a month we would have music here in Hemlock, and that was a lot of fun. That was a learning curve also, finding the right music that would satisfy people, and rock and roll wins every time. I just have to tell you that. No, I'm just kidding. There's great jazz ensembles that we've had. We've had the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra, chamber players, of which a member of the board of trustees lives here in Hemlock. So he was really helpful at helping me set that up. And that was really cool. I was never a person to listen to classical music, and I used to jump up after the first, like there was a break in the music, and I jump up and start clapping and realize I was the only one doing it and be totally mortified. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So Amy, cafe night was like your baby.
Cafe night is my baby. Yes.
Cafe night is your baby. So what year did you start in?
2006.
2006. So, so what was do you remember, what was the cultural arts program like in 2006? What was offered? Do you remember? Well, did you start it?
Oh no, there was things taking place. There was classes. The bus, Jody used to do the bus trips, but don't forget, he was on disability for 2 years. So most of that stuff was not happening.
Okay.
So he really worked the trips. He, went to Hyde Park and all of, the places that people go and tour.
And what about the craft fairs? Were they here before you, or is that your doing?
No, there was craft shows here. In fact, I had, taken part in probably like 5 years of the craft shows.
Did I see something recent in the Hemlock about a craft show? Is that?
Yes, you did.
Your project? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we have a craft show coming up May 14th outside of Fawn Hill Family Park.
Right.
And
Okay.
we'll have music, and we'll have our crafters, and hopefully some food vendors, or if not, it'll probably be the recreation crew serving food again. And they're very well attended. They've really built up in the past.
They have built up. I mean, go ahead.
Jody was big on Hemlock Farms Day. That was his big main Hemlock Farms event. Also, there was something on Memorial Day weekend every year, a music event, usually under the stars or whatever, that they would do. Occasionally, he would have a comedian, but I didn't see that in the records for, maybe once or twice in the past 10 years before I took over. Did I see anything like that? Jody also started the cultural arts department, so I shouldn't say 10 years. I forget when he was actually hired to do that. I should have looked that up and I forgot.
That's okay. That's okay. So what are some of your so cafe night was your baby. Is there anything else you sort of started, or are there things you just sort of grew under you? Are there any other of your babies?
Yes. Most things grew under me, but I mean, there's some things that we implemented here, like the comedy nights are
those are great,
pretty popular. And we try and have 3 or 4 of those every year. Let's see what else. The craft shows have been much more popular. We do New York City bus trips. Going to see a show is actually working out a lot better now than just a day on your own, where people would be like lost, looking around like, what are we going to do? We need someone to help us. And so we started doing the shows, driving right up there to, basically within 2 blocks, seeing a show, going out to dinner. So that was really nice. And that really took off. People really like that.
I love the bus trip. I did a day on your own. I did the day on your own, I think twice. I think it sort of ended pretty soon after I got here, but I did like a day on your own. It's so civilized, the bus trip. You guys dropped us off like in Midtown or 42nd Street. And then at 7:00, we just got back on that bus and came back here.
Love it. Yes.
Very civilized way to go.
Yeah. Go
I was
see
thinking
a show,
of doing it because
museum. What's that?
Don't you have one coming up in August? The show, because I always read the bulletin boards. I'm attracted to the bulletin boards.
Yeah.
So you're doing a lot of advertising.
Music Man, Hugh Jackman. Can't wait to see
that. I know. I was thinking of registering if it wasn't too late. So
it's not too late. We got some room yet.
Oh yeah. Me
Yeah.
too, because that's a big shot. That's a big show. That's a great show.
Yeah, I know.
You
Looking
know,
forward to that.
that's going to be amazing. So when you have all these projects, I know you advertise on bulletin boards, but how else do you advertise? How else can people find you? Because you can't just, I know
It's
you're
really
famous
hard.
in Hemlock.
Infamous is more like it.
Okay.
The Hemlock Happenings.
Okay.
And people have to read in order to see it. I try and put up the banners at the mailroom and on the tennis courts, but and that really works. I used to be able to put some roadside signs up right coming in the front gate. That was awesome, but we've had to do away with that because it does look kind of messy. So we'll trying to come up with a different way to do that, but I think having the website up.
I know we have to get Amy to do a TikTok.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's do it.
Do a TikTok.
First, we have to get internet at my house, okay? We have to have satellite dishes, and they said it's like dial-up. It's like, no, I wouldn't be able to do that. No way.
Amy, how was I think COVID has how has the last couple of years in COVID sort of impacted programming?
Well, I'll tell you, luckily we have those two beautiful tents over at Fawn Hill.
Yeah.
And all of the performers were so grateful that they were able to come and perform at Fawn Hill for us. We had the stage, we had the little lights set up. It's a nice atmosphere, and there were some cold nights, so we went out and we got some of those beautiful heaters, and the ambiance there is perfect. Nice fresh breeze. Everybody could spread out. There wasn't any, issues with that. And the performers loved it. In fact, we like it so much better. We're going to continue doing a lot more outdoor events under the tents. So
I know. I would like a while ago when you started it, I thought it was such a fabulous idea, the outdoor music and stuff. And I was like, oh, do more. And then COVID hit and you did do more. And I think everyone really appreciates it and likes that atmosphere. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, is there any sort of goals or new programming you're thinking of? And if the answer is no, then that's fine. Like goals, dreams, wishes. Is there anything you want to see happen in Hemlock Farms, culturally speaking?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm always open to fresh ideas, of course, because I wouldn't have learned as much as I did without being able to accept people's suggestions and running with them and just having a blast with that. We've done drink and draws. We've done psychic fairs. We did a healing expo. The one thing that I tried to do, but it didn't really work out. We didn't get enough participation. I called it the Hemlock Idol. And I just would love to do that because I bet there's so many talented kids and adults that it would just be fun to showcase them. So I have to work on that because I just think it would be so much fun. Have some nice prizes for the winners and, of course they're not going to get famous after, they win, but that's okay.
But you never know. You might discover that great person.
Well, you have so many new people living in Hemlock Farms now.
Yes.
I sort of think like if you did programming in the past, like 3, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, and perhaps it failed and something you love, or even something that you just want to bring back, every idea is fresh and new now. And everyone is always everyone's looking to do something and to stay close to home. So you got like the best job. And a lot of pressure to make us all happy.
I agree. And it's, we've had cultural evenings where we've had some people that came from Haiti and talked to us about the earthquake that happened there.
Mm-hmm.
And was it the earthquake?
Yeah.
And, the food from Haiti, people made food and brought it, and it was a really nice night. I would like to bring more of that. into
Mhm.
play. I'd love to get all the different nationalities in Hemlock Farms to get together and just have one big party where everybody has different tables of their own food and they dress up the way their country where
love
they
it.
perhaps can, you know, just something big like that. I'd also like to have a music festival. Just like a different band on Tuesday. I mean, we wouldn't be able to put more than 2 stages at Fawn Hill, but, you know, just have 2 stages set up with sound and lights and just let it carry on into the night. Because we usually don't go into the night unless it's a specific cafe night. Like Hemlock Farms Day, we try and end it at early because we found that the people just leave. Comes a time and everybody just goes. So
you want hemlock stock?
yeah,
Yes, she
exactly.
sounds like it. Right.
We're all in favor. We love it. Go ahead. Another idea. Go ahead. I want to hear.
Yeah, we've done Books and Bubbly where we've had authors in Hemlock Farms come and they do some readings, and we've had actors. Well, before me, there was an actor, who was it that ran I guess it was Cultural Arts Department, ran the Books and Bubbly, and they had an actor that was on Caddyshack. It was Dr. Beeper, and he came and he did a reading. So we tried bringing that back a couple of times, and it was nice. It's really, we have so many talented people in Hemlock Farms.
Right.
So let's see. I forget the first question. Those are things that I'd like to do. Also, scavenger hunt within the community.
Have you seen there are, so we did this app once and it took us on a scavenger hunt through Scranton. And you
was
just
that
had
Eventbrite that ran that?
not Eventbrite. No, that's a big one. It was, I forget what it was called. And it's like, you know, go like 3 paces south and hit and see this here, and then make a right. And then you're standing in front of something sort of meaningful, and they ask you questions about it. And then they send you somewhere else. And it's like, you don't have to take anything, or it doesn't really cost anything. Yeah. It's just go from place to place to place. But, you know, Scranton, I mean, we did walk it all, but I mean, you could drive it in Hemlock Farms. I think that would be great.
Yeah, it would be fun.
That sounds fun.
That's a super fun idea. Hey, so is Hemlock Farms Day is probably one of your biggest events, right?
It's the biggest to organize. Yeah.
What goes into
all the events are big?
Of course they are, and meaningful, and
cultural.
What goes into planning Hemlock Farms Day?
I usually start in December the year before, and it's really just a matter of getting the entertainment, the music, the food organized, the crafters, special shows that we like to do. You know, it's just a fun day. And you know, sometimes it's hard to mix it up a little bit, but you know, I think we do a pretty good job. So,
well, you know, like I said, there's a lot of new people here, so it's new to them.
Right.
It's awesome. So,
exactly.
Jay, I forget. Did you go to Hemlock Farms Day? Do you remember? That's always an
I don't know. Is that the
big
beach
one
when they closed down
No,
Beach?
that's the kickoff.
And have that big barbecue? Oh, okay.
That's the kick.
Yeah,
Hemlock Farms Day is in August at Fawn Hill, and they have bands and shows, and it's like the
rides.
Right. It's like the souped up craft fair, because they have craft fairs a couple times.
Wow.
This year we'll have the Euro bungee jump. We have pony rides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually we have the rock wall, but we switched it with the Euro bungee jump this year, so that'll be fun. You know, bounce house for the kids, slides, and a BMX show this year.
Wow.
So
you had a guy in stilts one year walking around. I think you've had you have food trucks too. Do you have any sometimes food trucks?
Yeah, we have had a Thai fusion food truck in the past. A couple of years ago we had I forget what their name was, but you know, they had the hot dogs that were all souped up and everything. They stopped coming up to this area though. I keep trying to get food trucks, but everybody's usually booked and they want, they book for the weekends, like every weekend at certain places. So it's really hard to get food trucks to come just for one day.
Okay.
Although that might be another thing to try and do is a food truck party, get all the food trucks in. We'll probably have to do that in either May or October, but after their busy season, but that would be fun too.
That would be, I think there's a festival like that in Scranton in October or something.
Yes.
A food truck fair. That would be really great. Something really different.
I've been to a couple of those. Those are super fun. And they don't have to be many. It could be 2. It still feels just as good as 10, so that's really fun. Wow. Sounds like you're on the cutting edge though of your activities, the BMX, the bungee jumping, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's all at Hemlock Farms Day. Jay, you got to go to that one this year. That's in August.
I'm there. I'll volunteer if you need me. I can help with the cleanup. I try not to be late. But it sounds like, I think the thing about Hemlock Farms is when like the new people that come in want to get involved in something, we want to attend, but we don't even mind volunteering or getting involved or getting to know people, because it seems like you want to make friends. And like you said earlier, everyone is so friendly. But sometimes, you may be shy, or you might, have a bad day and you just don't know how to reach out all the time. That's why meetings
if anybody ever wants to volunteer for some of my events, just give me a call. I'll put them to work. We have casino night coming up.
I saw that Royal Casino.
Oh, it's my favorite. I love casino night.
I saw that.
I love it. I love it. You go there and they have the gambling tables out. They have the music in the all-purpose room. You bring your
awesome dealers.
Drink. Oh, awesome dealers. Awesome. You bring your own snacks and drinks, and you have some snacks, and it's a very relaxed night, and if you don't like the snacks you brought, you go to the table next to you and you have their snacks.
What room?
Although we have some really good hors d'oeuvres that we pass around there.
Yes, those are good too. That's like when I try to explain to people about Hemlock Farms, when the kids were little and we would go to Elm Beach, and like, let's say we didn't have a boat and we saw someone coming in on a kayak, they would be like, "You want to borrow our kayak?" It was all very like that. And that's the same thing with the snacks at casino night. We all share. Amy, this has been awesome. I just want people to get to know you and know, your job is fun, but you are planning Hemlock Farms Day for August. You're starting to plan it in December. So it's a lot of hard work, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I love all the programming that you do. I try to go to different ones, and I think people should make like New Year's resolutions to try like 1 or 2 different things this year.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what our community is about.
And if you get the Hemlock News, there's a community calendar on there, and that lists all the events too.
I read it all the time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're on
the back actually of this one.
Know.
I love the Hemlock paper.
Tony does an amazing job as a director for our shows.
Yeah.
And that was something that just took off also, which was great. Tony introduced himself to me and said, I want to do a play. And that was 9 years ago. And that's amazing. That's so much fun. A lot of work, but so much fun.
That's something else that should be stressed for when we broadcast this and post it, that people have ideas and want to start something, they should come to you with it. And you are very receptive and wanting to try different and new things. And I think that's great. Amy, is there anything you want to say in closing? Anything you want anyone to know, or you got anything?
How to reach you? How to contact you?
Words for
Hemlock Farms. Yes. My email is listed everywhere. It's amy.strapec Strapec, which is STRAPEC @hfca.com. And my phone number's out there all over the place. It's my cell phone, so you can always reach me, 570-236-9393. There's a couple of ideas also that we've done in the past and we'll bring back once this COVID stuff is over and we can safely gather inside again. That's open mic nights. We did drinking draws. We've had drum circles.
Yeah.
We've had psychics, which are always very popular.
That psychic always sells out.
Yeah, it did.
Psychics are great. Psychics
I know.
are great. You
Could
know?
she-
Yeah.
Could she reserve me something in the future or something? I need a
So.
spot there. Well, thank you, Amy. Thank you, Jay, for co-hosting.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
This
you.
is a good
My name
avenue.
is my name is Ina Filip. I'm an associate broker at Century21, full-time Hemlock Farms resident. Amy Strapec, cultural arts director of Hemlock Farms. All that fun, wonderful programming Amy is responsible for, and she would love to hear your ideas. Jay Jones, new member who's going to be trying out all different things this year. So
And
thank
I'm
you.
sending Amy an email. Amy, get a spin class going. I love spin.
Is
Anyway.
that recreation? Is
Is
that
that-
cultural?
Is
That's
that
not
arts is that arts and crafts?
Be well,
Anyway,
be well,
All right.
be
Nice to
happy,
see you guys.
be in Hemlock. Bye.
Thanks, Ina. Thanks, Jay.
bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Happy New Year.